I don't know if Chief Cox has information on that.
Yeah, we have had 3 minor injuries for firefighters on this fire. All are non-life-threatening, and I believe have been released from hospitals.
Can you tell us about the damage at Big Basin? We're hearing maybe the buildings there have been destroyed.
Yeah, so again, we're not going to go into the details about specifics about what is destroyed yet. We don't want to give bad information when we talk about destruction. We want to make sure we get that accurate. So that will be forthcoming. Our resources are limited. The incident management team has called in specialized damage inspection teams to literally just focus on this process. So I think in the coming days, you'll see those numbers change with a lot more substantial information.
Can you explain the boundaries of the fire, including the spot fires? At this point, there are various maps circulating, various videos. What do we know about exactly where this fire is, where the spot fires have reached, especially further south?
Yeah, I'm going to pass that back to Chief Brunton again.
So as I indicated earlier, because of the conditions that we're facing, it's really difficult for us to get a clear understanding to the exact portion of the fire line. Also, the weather conditions, especially the past night, and we will anticipate for the next, like I said, 24 to 72 hours with the weather conditions. The fire's pushing in various directions. So the best I can give you as far as a northern part of the perimeter is pushing towards the communities of Pescadero and La Honda on the very north part, and then on the southern part, moving from west to east, and it's currently just west of Empire Ridge Road in that area. And then as far as south, potentially there's a quarry near outside of Felton that we believe that the fire has reached to, but we're not 100% sure. And again, due to the lack of our resources to be able to actually physically get out there and recon those areas, especially without that aircraft to get a good look, it's a little bit of a guessing game. Also, with the spot fires, the fact that with the vegetation, the topography that exists, it's not really easy to locate these and find them. And until they pop up and get larger, that's sometimes when we know exactly where they're at. So I wish I could give you a very clear, direct line of where the fire is, but we're not at that point just yet.
In the fire area, Body Dune, there's been some video of fire through the church, school there. Do you have any information on the status of those buildings?
I was physically there, and as of about 2 hours ago, there was no damage to those structures, but there certainly was fire in and among those structures, and fire crews were in active suppression activities, suppressing the fire, but we haven't had any report of any directly, as of the past couple hours, destroyed buildings or anything of that nature, but there is active firefighting going on in that community.
Scotts Valley is currently on alert. Can you speak to the difference between being on alert and an actual evacuation?
So that would be an evacuation warning, and basically that's just a heads up that people should be prepared to evacuate when an order comes. An evacuation order is from the Sheriff's Department that states you need to get out immediately for your life safety threat, property threat. So a warning is pretty much get your stuff ready, and hopefully you've already prepared yourself for wildfire. I mean, in California, it should be a given that you should always be prepared and packed up, have the valuables, have the pets, the family members, everything ready to go. And when that order comes, is to get out, do not hesitate, do not wait.
You've talked a little bit about resources, and they're always stretched, especially when there's so many of these fires going on. I know that there's a lot of hand crews that can come from some of the prisons. Has COVID outbreaks at some of these facilities impacted any of the manpower that you guys are being able to pull for some of these lines?
Yeah, and I think certainly the department has been very clear and transparent in delivering that message. Yes, it has had an impact upon our firefighting hand crews. That's something that just is a reality in this point in time. So it does have an impact. So we are short crews overall statewide. That is correct. And then take on top of that, even if we were at full strength with all the fires that we're currently seeing, we are woefully short of resources, period. So the department, the state, working with our local and federal partners, are attacking these fires as best they can, throwing everything they can resource-wise at it. It's just that the resources, even as much as we have within the state of California, and we're very fortunate compared to the other states, we are almost tapped out, and same with our federal partners. There are fires up and down the state and then outside the state, to be quite frankly with you, that are using these resources. So they are finite, they're limited, and we are doing the best we absolutely can with what limited tools we have in the toolbox.
How many people have been evacuated at this point?
So at this point, I think, as I mentioned yesterday, about 5,000 residents plus through yesterday, and I would imagine another at least a couple thousand more as we go south from Boulder Creek.
Last night, the community of Last Chance was burned fully, and the residents were not notified by the two-step process that you outlined, where there's a warning and then the evacuation order. We were assured that Sheriff Jim Hart was going to have sheriff deputies out to evacuate people. That didn't happen. Thinking about the dynamic nature of the fire, that you don't know where it's going to go, the variable wind conditions, what are you doing? Thinking about forward-looking communities like Lompico, Diante, Felton, UC Santa Cruz. What are we doing to alert those residents on the impending out-of-control fire that we see?
Yeah, absolutely, and that really goes to the heart of our relationship with CAL FIRE and really relying on information that allows us to be able to develop plans to evacuate those communities. We absolutely want to maintain safety for everybody that lives here in the county, and we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to ask for as many resources as absolutely necessary to protect everybody here to the best extent that we can. There was active fire in the Last Chance area. Through reverse 911s, I would encourage people to follow the CAL FIRE's website, but we follow this extremely closely. We're literally locked at the hip with CAL FIRE, and for us, it's really, you know, taking that information that's developed through CAL FIRE and then executing plans that we develop to make sure that we're notifying the right communities and that we're getting out there and we're helping let people know, both via a reverse 911, through social media, and then getting out wherever we can possible to get out to those homes and physically tell people, hey, now's the time to leave. But I would encourage people more than ever is that, especially with an event like this that's dynamic, changing, and things can happen, please, 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 if you do not have to be in this area, it's not a bad idea to go stay elsewhere. You just don't know what's going to happen. And so I would encourage everyone, pay attention to social media, CAL FIRE, pay attention to those reverse 911s, and stay tuned to all the information that CAL FIRE is putting out.
For that community, the reverse 911 came late. The community had already burned by the time the reverse 911 was in place. What are you suggesting to the people who live here? Do they need to leave? Should they expect reverse 911? Should they wait? What do people need to be doing in our community?
So it's monitoring all of the information that I suggested, both through CAL FIRE's website, staying tuned to social media, things of that nature, just staying aware in general of everything that's going on around you. If you live in this area, you absolutely want to pay attention to all those resources to make sure that you're fully informed.
Are you aware of any power outages this evening that might affect people's ability to access internet resources?
There are power outages that I have been made aware of that have happened throughout the kind of the Boulder Creek area. It's my understanding that obviously the fire's impacted, you know, the power services, both power lines and power poles. And so disruptions like that can occur. Again, I would just absolutely reiterate that it's just now is more important than ever. Just please stay as informed as you can, and we'll do everything we can to obtain the best information with regards to what this fire is doing, to be able to provide that, to go out and contact people in the community and do everything we can to keep people safe.
Historically, how does this event compare to past events? It's precedent-wise.
Yeah, so are you talking statewide, kind of on a regional level?
This area here.
Yeah, this is one of the more significant events in this region, and it's evolving into potentially one of the biggest for this part of the state. One thing to consider is we've gone almost a week without fog in a county that gets fog almost every day. That has a big impact on our firefight. We don't have the fuel recoveries at night. We have the higher temperatures at night. And this is really that alignment of worst case scenarios where we had heat, we had an ignition source, and we had dry fuel. And those three in alignment, not just in Santa Cruz County and San Mateo, but across Northern California, have really resulted in where we are now. I would like to kind of close with this is, this is not a normal situation. We are doing as much as we can with the resources that we can, and I can tell you from seeing and talking to firefighters and police officers who've been out there for 48 hours plus trying to get people to safety, trying to save lives, trying to prioritize as much as possible our goals, everybody with a badge and a uniform, are here for a single mission. That's why we signed up for this. So I just want to kind of reiterate, we are triaging to get people out to safety as best as possible. We are working long hours, even at our level, not uncommon right now to go 2 and 3 days. That's how thin we are. So I just want to reassure the public that we are really here 100% focused on what is the most important thing, which is everybody in this community, and nobody's going to leave this incident until this does come to an end.
And just lastly, is it safe to assume that a lightning strike can pop up that's been smoldering for a long time, and even if you're outside of the evacuation zone, something can pop up quick?
Absolutely. We're still responding to calls where it's a tree stump on fire or a smoldering bush out in the middle of an unpopulated area, and we call those sleepers. Those are just from the 1,100 lightning strikes that came through the area, so it's not uncommon for that to occur outside the fire perimeter. With that, everyone up here can be spoken to one-on-one. I appreciate you being here. This concludes the press conference.